I don't think that we should have something as blunt as saying you're not going to get treatment, but we should say you'll get the treatment, but we're going to deal with you. And there has to be either sanction or otherwise, because otherwise, if you don't correct these behaviours, then it doesn't get sorted.
There was, this is before you were born, I think, Laura, but there was an incident involving a patient I remember called Rose Addis. And it was in the early days of Tony Blair, and Rose Addis was an old lady who had really bad treatment in the NHS. And she'd basically died, and her relatives were up in arms, and it was a political problem. And then the government briefed, well, the problem was she was a racist, and that's why she didn't get the attention. And the family were so angry about it, because there's an old lady and she's being briefed against by the government after she's dead and so on. So this is obviously an issue that goes back, Laura.
And I think, like you were saying earlier, it's shocking that in 2025 we're actually seeing an increase in racist behaviour towards staff. But I think some people feel like very emboldened right now.
So what is the increase down to, do you think?
I think, well, if you look at social media platforms like X and the sort of language that's being normalised there amongst people, it is shocking. It would absolutely shock you to read some of the racist
But then
abuse that goes on there.
why have we seen a rise in anti-Semitism as well? We've seen that very significantly.
I would include anti-Semitism in what I was talking about there as well. And I would say that anti-Semitism is disgusting on X as well.
It is. It's appalling, but it's also been problematic within health services or other places as well.
Yeah,
you know,
because
you've got the other way.
Yeah, I've seen those stories. Yeah.
You know, we've seen those stories. So I think this is generally problematic, and the question is, how do we deal with these kinds of discrimination in our society?
To what extent can you say you're not having treatment? We've not had anyone yet who says, you've got to go ahead and treat them because it's the NHS.